Good morning, y'all. Happy Tuesday. I'm coming to y'all before I go run out, get my day started, get to making some money. Child, my car started, getting all warmed up, worked up, waiting for mama to come outside. So I was like, let me do a quick video. I just posted my Real Housewives of Atlanta review. I posted it on YouTube. And again, if you prefer the audio version or just want to support on both platforms, you can go over to wherever it is you find your podcast. Child was getting ready to say IHOP. I must be hungry. Um, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, wherever it is you listen to audio podcasts, you can find what else is going on over there. So I just wanted to talk to y'all, give y'all some updates about some quick things that we already talked about. First up, Auntie Wendy Williams. This is according to the New York Post. Wendy Williams passes mental capacity test after being transported by ambulance to NYC hospital report. Now, I'm not going to lie, when I first saw the headline, my brain focused on the word passed. I said, excuse, oh, absolutely not. I said, it's a setup. I had come up with all different kind of conspiracy theories in the span of 5 seconds before I realized, oh, keep reading. Because sometimes your brain will latch on to a word. So shout out to our auntie who is here on earth. She has passed her mental capacity test. Let's get into it. A psychiatrist at the New York hospital where Wendy Williams was taken Monday has reportedly determined that her mental capacity is intact. Williams arrived by ambulance at Lenox Hill Hospital on Monday morning, which was yesterday, after cops were called to her assisted living facility for a wellness check when the former daytime talk show host tossed a handwritten note pleading for help out of a window. So when I talked about the story yesterday of her going to the Lenox Hospital, I didn't know that the way they got there was because she had the chain of events started was because she tossed a note um, outside of the window asking for help. Once at Lenox Hill, the former shock jock was given a psychological examination called a capacity test and scored a 10 out of 10, answering each of 10 questions used to determine whether she was alert and oriented correctly, according to TMZ. Let's get into a little bit more. The exam Williams took may have been the abbreviated mental test score based on TMZ's description. The test, used to assess the possibility of dementia in early patients, includes 10 questions such as the subject's date of birth, address, and who the current president is, according to Medical News Today. Each correct answer earns 1 point. A source of 6 or below indicates a patient may be suffering from dementia or delirium. Williams is currently under court-ordered guardianship after being diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia. She has disputed the diagnosis and is fighting to end the guardianship. Doctors allegedly did not conduct any tests that could indicate whether she was misdiagnosed. Moving on, let's see. Okay. The results of the capacity test will reportedly be sent to the judge in Williams' guardianship case per TMZ. The call for Williams' wellness check came in about 11:15 a.m., which was yesterday, Monday, after she tossed the note from the window of her fifth story room, in the assisted living facility. Police sources told the Post the note said, "Help, Wendy." I'm going to show y'all real quick, in case you have it. This is what the note looked like. Yeah. It says the former Wendy Williams show host, who was moved to the memory unit of her residential facility in the early days of her stay, was also spotted at the window waving her arms at a Post reporter while speaking on the phone. Not long after, Williams exited the facility with a police escort who helped her into a waiting ambulance. Her legal guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, has stated in court filings that Williams had become cognitively impaired, permanently disabled, and incapacitated from dementia. Williams, however, has insisted she is of sound mind, recently telling TMZ that she is being held in a prison and is not allowed to go outside of her own free will. Last month, she scored a small legal victory in her battle to be freed from the conservatorship when Morrissey informed a judge. Morrissey, who is Sabrina Morrissey, the guardian, informed a judge she would be open to Williams undergoing a new medical evaluation given the TV star's dissent from her dementia diagnosis. So that was the note. The police to get her. Williams has insisted she's of sound mind, recently telling TMZ that she's being held prison. She's been held in the prison. So they took her out yesterday. She was on the phone. Yep. So again, let's go back. This is the note that was tossed out. I'm glad that this spotlight is being put on this. In the case, when this all first started, the guardianship conversation started, was it early last year or the end of 2022? I remember a lawyer who had nothing to do with her case was talking and said that guardianships are almost impossible to get out of unless you can get it to the public and there's a public outcry, a push, like for he used Britney Spears and now for Wendy. If this doesn't show that these need to be looked into, I've heard so many stories of people just going in, taking over people's lives, legally, somehow doing this. So shout out to our Aunt Wendy, who we're talking about right now. So we will keep up with what the next steps are from here. Again, they said they didn't give her a test that shows that doctors allegedly did not conduct any tests that could indicate whether she was misdiagnosed. So hopefully all of that comes next. So I'm so, so, so glad, again, that this is being given attention and that Wendy can live. She's alive. You know what I'm saying? And that she can feel like she's alive and not just living locked up in some prison. All right, moving on. We talked about Tamra yesterday, and I just wanted to give a little bit of an update. This is according to Reality Blur. So basically, a source says Tamra quit in the middle of the New Orleans trip with the girls. It was just after filming an emotional scene that turned into a heated discussion and then a shouting match with Gretchen and Shannon. Ultimately, Tamra can dish it, but she can't take it, which long-term viewers well know. This is what an insider told the U.S. Sun. Remember some seasons back on The Real Housewives of Orange County? It's funny because this scene made me want to get my black dress and wear my red lip. Because I will say, Tamra looks beautiful in this scene. I'll never forget. But they were all, not but, however, were they on a cash trip or somewhere? And Lydia was there. Alexis was there. And Tamra was sitting at the table and told Alexis to get out. And then they kind of were getting on Tamra and she got up and ran barefoot and said, "You want to?" and she went flying. She went flying down the side of the pool. Y'all remember that? So I'm wondering if it's like this. It got too heated. However, she didn't just go flying down the side of a pool. It looks like she got back on a plane. So this is her. She posted this on her story. Mental health is wealth. This is her in the New Orleans airport. Tamra has spoken out in the hour since her abrupt departure, sharing a pic from the airport and including a message which read, "Mental health is health." Oh, child, in my mind, it said mental health is wealth. I might have even actually read that. I don't know. See how your brain just goes somewhere, but she's saying mental health is health. Gotcha. In the meantime, Gina said, moving on, Gina posted this and said, "Business as usual." It looks like she's still there. You know what part of New Orleans is that? That looked like the Airbnb I stayed in when I went with, shout out to Raven from Bitches Better and Hannah Brown. And we went to her bachelorette party in New Orleans. It looked like that a little bit. I'm just saying. I know they all have a look to them, but that little piece there looked familiar. But anyway, Gina said, business as usual, carry on, ma'am. So Tamra, unless she playing and just sitting in the airport, she's at the airport, child, she didn't laugh. And Gina said, we moving on. And we are moving on as well. I just wanted to get into a little bit of Porsha. So again, I just posted my Real Housewives of Atlanta review, recap, whatever it is you want to call it, on YouTube and uploaded it to wherever it is you listen to your podcast. Porsha was on Watch What Happens Live. I'm not going to play the clips. I'm just going to read them because I was going to search for them, but you would have had to listen to them anyway. So I was like, I'll just read them. But I want to get into a little bit of what she said about the season thus far. We're only one episode in, right? So let's get into it. Y'all don't forget to let me know what y'all think about the episode that we saw. I'm going to try not to judge the season based on this one episode. I'm not going to say that I didn't enjoy myself because I did enjoy myself. I just have to wrap my mind around the fact that we're not talking about housewives of old anymore. That's not what we're getting. That's not where we're at anymore. So, but let's get into it. This is from Reality Blurb. So let's get into Porsha being on Watch What Happens Live. They're talking about Kelly and how Kelly kind of came in hot, right? Porsha said Kelly was having a moment. She was reaching for it. I have been away for 3 years. It was very shocking to step right in, like, damn, the deep end is here. While some felt that Shamea didn't do enough to defend her, Porsha confirmed that she felt she did a good job. Yes, of course. Here's the thing. Shamea was a friend of the show. She's a new housewife. Kelly's a new housewife. And she's also kind of a friend to Shamea. I don't give a damn. I had just filed. As for how Shamea felt about her being late to the party, Porsha admitted the snafu was a thing. In the housewife world, if you're late, it's a thing. One thing that nobody knew at the time, my husband had sent a cease and desist. I could not film in my home, so I was filming out in Duluth. And it was a rainy Friday. Whatever, excuses, excuses. But once I got there, I told her we're good. That kind of struck me as odd. You told Shamea that y'all were good? I would think it would be the other way around. Maybe Shamea learning this information and then Shamea saying we're good. Also, I go back to, and I said this in my review, unless they gave her a different call time, if you knew that you had to film in Duluth and it was a rainy Friday in traffic and you had to get all the way out to Shamea's house, would you have not started getting ready earlier? Or were things just chaotic? You lost track of time? I don't know. Did you just receive the cease and desist and had to move your filming that day? Because if he has sent the deceased, say a day or two, the cease and desist, Lord, a day or two beforehand, if you knew that, right? And you had enough time to say, okay, well, now I need to get my makeup done at this time. I need to get this done so that I can make it to her party. Her saying that she told Shamea we're good, I don't know, it just seems. Anyway, when asked about Kenya questioning Drew about why Dennis never produced a song for her, Porsha jokingly gave her ex a shout out saying, since he wanted it, right? He did a children's album for my daughter, Pilar, and he has a company called All Star Kids. So shout out to you, baby daddy. I don't know. Looking back on the premiere, Porsha admitted to disagreeing with Kelly's decision to give her daughter 17 bags for her 17th birthday. I think buy him land or something. Just over a year after splitting from Simon, following a year of marriage, Porsha confirmed her divorce has not yet been finalized. I'm still married. It was about to be over, and then unfortunately, he had been detained, so it should be over soon. Confirming that Simon was detained by ICE in Georgia. Our last court date, he requested for it to be in person. I didn't want it to be in person because I kind of knew the climate. And unfortunately, he walked into it, but I think he'll figure it out. I wish him well. I pray for him and his family. Maybe they can laughing because it's like, maybe they can figure it out. That's what she said. Y'all, I'm not wishing nobody being detained by far. However, you have to always try to find a silver lining in things, right? And the silver lining in this is that we don't have Simon tweeting every hour, posting every hour, because you know that would have happened he'd have been posting from Shamia getting a Rolls Royce to Porsha coming late. I mean, he would have been just enough. So that might be the silver lining for us as viewers. Again, not celebrating anybody being in custody, but I'm just saying, ooh, for us. So she said, but when she said, I pray for him and his family, maybe they can I wish him well. I pray for him and his family. Maybe they can figure it out. Child, she is so far removed already. According to Porsha, the last straw in her marriage was based on their communication. It was the betrayal of what I thought we had. I really thought we were the best communicators with each other. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that he had love bombed me and was taking it back. Our relationship, it kind of swapped over. And I just realized I needed more. And I think women should be able to stand up and say, I need more truth, more this, more that, and a whole lot of other things. Since their split, Porsha and Simon have been feuding over their home, and looking back, Porsha said that her estranged spouse locked her out on numerous occasions. He kept locking me out of the house. I had to get in there and get him out. Amid the drama, Porsha said her co-parenting relationship with Dennis was good. It's always good when I'm single. Now we're going to see when I get somebody, but it's good. As for Dennis joking about her coming home after her split from Simon, Porsha shut down the idea of a potential reconciliation. No, no, no. I tried. I thought about it. I prayed about it. It's just not in the stars for us. So she's saying she did try to get back with him after the Simon thing. She definitely said she thought about it and prayed about it. Because Porsha and Simon had spent so much time with Shamia and her husband, Gerald, during their marriage, Andy wanted to know if Gerald had ever warned her about Simon. He did. When you've been through so much with men lying to you or mistreating you, and you meet someone who looks you in the eye and says what they're going to do, and they do what they say they're going to do, you begin to trust them beyond whatever, and love wins. And sometimes love fails. And in this case, that's what happened. So Gerald had some red flags about Simon. While her and Simon have been apart for some time, Porsha admitted that she's not ready to date. I'm not really comfortable. I did try. I went on a date. Well, a few. I have to get to the space where I want to get to know someone because I really don't want to get to know people right now in that way. Now, a few months ago, she did say she liked somebody. Regarding the newbies, Porsha admitted she really kind of likes her new co-stars, even though it may not look like it on RHOA. One thing I want you to know about Angela is she's sneaky and she sneaks up on you, kind of in a good and bad way. Kelly is loud, but also she's got a softer side. She and I are like oil and vinegar. Is it water? ? It's water because, as Bethany told, I invoked her name, but anyway, as she told Ramona, oil and vinegar go together. You know, that's like a salad dressing. She said, whatever, don't mix. Whatever you don't mix, it's us. Britt is good. Britt is a whole ball of fun. I think it's interesting how Britt and Kelly were very, very close. They've since fallen out. Kelly is close with Shamia, and Porsha has said on more than one occasion that Britt was cool. Also on the live broadcast, Porsha promoted the return child. This is where I already had a slight little side eye. Now here is where I'm like, girl, you have completely, anyway. We need to bring Kim Zolciak. I've seen Kim a couple of times in Atlanta, and she has a lot going on. So there's a lot of story there, a lot of content. And I feel like she didn't get a fair shake in the beginning. Absolutely not. No. On the after show for Watch What Happens Live, they talked about Dr. Simone, who stated that Porsha was the number one mean girl. Porsha said it didn't make sense. It's not much to say. I think she just wanted airtime because she doesn't get much airtime on her show, maybe. She also said that she wants Bravo to bring back the chat room with her, Giselle, and Hannah, because that was a great talk show. Now, a little bit of tea for y'all. If y'all listened back then when they had chat room, remember Kate was on it and then Kate wasn't on it anymore, but it was Kate's idea for the show, Kate Chastain. If you go back through my archives of what else is going on podcast, there is no, I wasn't using the video for YouTube at the time. I just posted the audio. Kate Chastain came on the podcast. And I remember it ended up in Reality Blurb. It ended up in some of the Bravo spaces. She talked a lot about Porsha She talked about Porsha being on the chat room. She said that there was a lot of times when they were given their segments, what they were going to talk about. They would rehearse, and then Porsha would get on camera and switch, take her segment if she thought it was more interesting. She said a lot. Again, that interview kind of went viral a little bit. It went everywhere. So if you want to go back and listen, um, you can go to your podcast app. For me, I have what is it called? The podcast app, right? iTunes. So you can go to the search bar, type in Kate Chastain's name, and every podcast that she's been on will come up. So she's been on my podcast twice. So you just have to make sure that you listen to the right one. But if you read the description, it'll come up. I'm trying to see. You can either do that or you can go to, oh yeah, here it is. It comes up twice. I think there's two. One, she came on, wow, it's almost been 4 years, March 16th, 2021. And she was on another time. I think the March 16th, 2021 is the one where she talks about her. And yes, that is it. Because she talks about Porsha being brilliant when it comes to reality TV. So check that out. It's on March 16th, 2021. Kate Chastain, she's a vibe. Kate spilled a lot. So it just made me think about that when she said, bring back the chat room. Remember, it was Kate's idea for the show, but somehow, Porsha was named a producer. Anyway, if y'all want to, like I said, y'all can check it out. It was, again, March 16th, 2021. Kate Chastain, she's a vibe. All right, y'all. Speaking of vibing, let me get out here and get to vibing with these streets. Always remember what Diamond from the Players Club said. Make the money. Don't let the money make you. All right, y'all. I will talk to y'all later. See ya.